Some stars don't just act. They radiate an energy that makes you look twice, think deeper, and wonder what stories they're not telling. Welcome back to Rainbow Spotlight, where we explore the magnetic pull of Hollywood's most intriguing mysteries. Today, we're diving into 5 male celebrities who've mastered the art of subtle rebellion. These aren't your typical leading men. They're the soft-spoken heartthrobs, the genre-defying artists, and the fashion-forward rebels who've built careers on authenticity while keeping their most personal truths beautifully ambiguous. Number 3's recent style evolution has fans creating entire TikTok theories. And number 1? His latest project choices have the internet convinced he's sending coded messages through his art. Drop a rainbow if you've ever felt that unmistakable vibe from any of these names, because what we're about to explore isn't speculation. It's appreciation for the kind of energy that transcends labels and speaks directly to the soul. Subscribe to Rainbow Spotlight because this episode celebrates the beautiful space between who we are and who we're becoming. From Charles Melton's artistic awakening to Michael Cimino's vulnerable strength, from Gavin Leatherwood's fearless creativity to Mason Gooding's evolving elegance and Rudy Pankow's magnetic mystery, these 5 stars prove that the most captivating energy comes from authenticity, not performance. Each story reminds us that in 2025, the most powerful masculine presentation might be the one that refuses to be limited by traditional expectations. This isn't about labels or categories. It's about celebrating the kind of energy that makes you lean in, pay attention, and believe that being fully yourself is the most revolutionary act of all. Whether they're rewriting scripts, challenging fashion norms, or simply existing with beautiful complexity, each of these men represents a new kind of star power built on truth rather than pretense. Which story resonated most with your own journey of self-discovery? Drop your numbers 1 through 5 and tell us where you're watching from. If you believe authentic expression is always more powerful than perfect performance, hit that like button. Subscribe to Rainbow Spotlight for more celebrations of the beautiful space between who we are and who we're becoming. Remember, the most magnetic energy in the world is the courage to be yourself, completely and unapologetically. This is Rainbow Spotlight, where authenticity always... What makes Melton's energy so captivating is how he's quietly revolutionized masculine presentation without making a big show of it. Gone are the safe, muscle-bound looks of his early Riverdale days, replaced by a more artistic, emotionally complex aesthetic. His red carpet appearances now feature soft knits, turtlenecks, and carefully chosen accessories that suggest vulnerability rather than dominance. His collaboration with stylist Warren Alfie Baker has resulted in looks that push boundaries while feeling effortlessly natural. Fashion should reflect who you're becoming, not who people expect you to be, Melton reflected in a recent interview. The internet has become particularly fascinated by Melton's choice of projects and the themes they explore. May-December required him to dive deep into questions of power, sexuality, and emotional complexity that few young actors would dare to touch. His preparation method involved extensive research into queer cinema and psychological studies of attraction, approaching the role with an academic rigor that surprised industry veterans. "I wanted to understand every layer of this character," he explained. "That meant exploring parts of human experience that maybe I hadn't fully examined in myself before." What's most telling is how naturally Melton discusses concepts of fluidity and self-discovery in interviews. Unlike many young male stars who stick to safe topics about fitness and career goals, he gravitates toward deeper conversations about identity, emotional expression, and the performance of masculinity. His social media presence has evolved to include art installations, poetry recommendations, and behind-the-scenes glimpses of his creative process that reveal an artistic soul far beyond his initial heartthrob image. The most compelling aspect of Melton's evolution is how he's used his platform to advocate for representation and authentic storytelling. His choice to take on May-December despite potential career risks showed an artistic courage that resonated with both critics and fans. Industry insiders have noted his gravitational pull toward queer directors, indie projects, and stories that challenge traditional narratives about masculinity and desire. "I'm interested in telling stories that haven't been told," he said recently, or stories that have been told, but not with this kind of honesty. Whether Charles Melton is exploring his own identity or simply committed to authentic artistry, his energy represents something new in Hollywood, A kind of masculine presentation that's both strong and soft, mysterious and open, traditional and revolutionary. In an industry that often demands performers choose sides, Melton has found power in refusing to be categorized. Drop a 1 if Charles Melton's artistic evolution feels like watching someone discover their truest self in real time. Michael Cimino, the Love Victor star who found power in vulnerability. When Michael Cimino stepped into the role of Victor Salazar in Love Victor, he wasn't just taking on another teen drama part. He was becoming the face of a generation discovering that vulnerability could be strength. Here was a 22-year-old actor who could anchor a Hulu original series across 3 seasons, earn GLAAD Media Award recognition, and speak to millions of young viewers navigating their own identity journeys. His portrayal of a closeted Latino teenager earned 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, Teen Choice nominations, and established him as one of the most authentic voices in young adult television. Yet for all his professional advocacy and emotional openness on screen, Cimino radiates an energy that suggests his most personal performance might be the one he gives every day. The numbers reflect both talent and cultural impact. 2.5 million Instagram followers who hang on his every post, multiple season renewals for Love Victor, and brand partnerships with companies specifically seeking authentic LGBTQ+ representation. James Martinez, his co-star, called him the most emotionally intelligent actor I've worked with, while series creator Isaac Aptaker praised his natural ability to find truth in every moment. But Cimino himself has always been thoughtful about the responsibility of his platform. When you're telling stories that matter to people who feel unseen, every choice becomes personal. You can't just act it, you have to live it. It's a philosophy that extends far beyond his screen work into every aspect of his public presence. What makes Cimino's energy so captivating is how naturally he embodies a new kind of masculine presentation. His fashion choices lean towards soft textures, earth tones, and vintage-inspired pieces that suggest comfort with both strength and sensitivity. His red carpet looks often feature open shirts, delicate jewelry, and carefully tousled hair that feels more editorial than traditional teen heartthrob. His collaboration with stylists has resulted in a signature look that's both accessible and aspirational, the kind of style that makes fans think, I could be that confident too. The internet has become particularly invested in Cimino's social media presence, which reads like a masterclass in authentic self-expression. His posts range from behind-the-scenes glimpses of his creative process to thoughtful captions about mental health, identity, and the importance of chosen family. His TikTok content often features him dancing, cooking, or simply existing with a kind of unguarded joy that feels revolutionary for a young male actor. I think authenticity is just being okay with all the parts of yourself, he reflected in a recent interview. The soft parts, the strong parts, the parts that don't fit into neat categories. What's most telling is how Cimino handles questions about his personal life and the themes of his work. Unlike many actors who distance themselves from their characters' experiences, he speaks about Love Victor's impact with genuine emotion and personal investment. His advocacy extends beyond professional obligation into real activism, speaking at Pride events, supporting LGBTQ+ youth organizations, and using his platform to amplify marginalized voices. His responses to fan questions about identity and self-discovery feel lived in rather than rehearsed. I think we're all just figuring it out as we go. The important thing is to be kind to yourself during the process. The most compelling aspect of Cimino's evolution is how he's managed to maintain authenticity while navigating Hollywood's expectations for young male stars. His choice of follow-up projects shows a clear interest in complex characters and meaningful storytelling rather than safe commercial choices. Industry insiders note his gravitation toward independent films and directors known for nuanced portrayals of identity and relationships. Michael has this rare ability to make you believe he's discovering something new about himself in every scene, observed one frequent collaborator. Whether Michael Cimino is channeling personal experience or simply committed to authentic representation, his energy represents something powerful in young Hollywood, a willingness to exist in the space between traditional masculine expectations and honest emotional expression. In an industry that often rewards performance over truth, his approach feels both refreshing and revolutionary. Drop a 2 if Michael Cimino's authenticity makes you believe that being vulnerable really is a superpower. Gavin Leatherwood, the Sabrina star who rewrote the rules of teen heartthrobs. When Gavin Leatherwood conjured his way into hearts as Nicholas Scratch on the chilling adventures of Sabrina, he didn't just play a warlock. He cast a spell that redefined what dark, mysterious, and magnetic could look like on screen. Here was a 28-year-old actor who could anchor Netflix's supernatural hit across 4 seasons, accumulate over 6 million Instagram followers, and become the internet's favorite soft goth boyfriend, while maintaining an air of mystery that kept fans perpetually intrigued. His portrayal of the morally complex warlock earned the series Teen Choice Awards and Saturn Award nominations, but it was Leatherwood's off-screen energy that truly captured attention. A blend of artistic sensitivity and rebellious confidence that felt both timeless and completely modern. The talent speaks for itself. Multi-instrumentalist who writes and performs his own music, classically trained dancer, and an actor who can seamlessly transition between supernatural drama and intimate character work. Roberto Aguirre Sacasa, the show's creator, called him magnetic in a way that transcends traditional categories, while co-star Kiernan Shipka praised his intuitive understanding of emotional complexity. But Leatherwood himself has always been philosophical about artistry. I think the most interesting characters and people are the ones who contain multitudes. Why limit yourself to one version of who you could be? It's a perspective that seems to guide every creative choice he makes. What makes Leatherwood's energy so compelling is how effortlessly he blends traditionally masculine and feminine aesthetics without making it feel calculated or performative. His fashion evolution has been particularly captivating. Gone are the safe, conventional looks of his early career, replaced by bold jewelry choices, flowing fabrics, dramatic eyeliner, and vintage-inspired pieces that feel more like artistic expression than celebrity styling. His collaboration with fashion photographers has resulted in editorial shoots that blur gender lines while celebrating individual expression. "Style should be fearless," he reflected in a recent interview. It's another language for telling people who you are inside. The internet has become obsessed with Leatherwood's artistic projects outside of acting, particularly his music, which explores themes of love, identity, and spiritual awakening with a vulnerability that feels deeply personal. His songs often feature lyrics about transformation, hidden desires, and breaking free from expectations, themes that resonate with fans who see themselves reflected in his artistic choices. His music videos, which he often co-directs, feature surreal imagery, gender-fluid styling, and intimate performances that suggest someone comfortable exploring every aspect of human experience. What's most telling is how naturally Leatherwood discusses concepts of fluidity and artistic exploration in interviews. His responses to questions about identity and expression feel thoughtful rather than rehearsed, philosophical rather than promotional. "I think we're all more complex than the role society wants to put us in," he said recently. "Art gives us permission to explore those complexities, to be all the things we are at once." His social media presence reinforces this philosophy, a curated mix of artistic photography, behind-the-scenes creativity, and moments of unguarded authenticity that feel more like performance art than celebrity marketing. The most compelling aspect of Leatherwood's trajectory is his choice to prioritize artistic integrity over conventional career moves. His post-Sabrina projects show a clear preference for independent films, creative collaborations, and projects that challenge traditional narratives about masculinity and identity. Industry observers note his gravitational pull toward queer filmmakers and stories that explore the full spectrum of human experience. "I'm interested in telling stories that haven't been told honestly," he explained, or taking familiar stories and finding new truths in them. Whether Gavin Leatherwood is exploring personal identity or simply committed to authentic artistry, his energy represents something rare in entertainment, a willingness to exist fully in the space between expectations and reality, tradition and revolution, masculine and feminine, known and mysterious. Drop a 3 if Gavin Leatherwood's artistic fearlessness makes you want to explore every part of who you could become. Mason Gooding, the Scream star whose screaming style revolution. When Mason Gooding stepped into the iconic Scream franchise, he didn't just survive the knife, he carved out a completely new archetype for what a horror heartthrob could be. Here was a 27-year-old actor who could anchor a $140 million worldwide box office hit, earn MTV Movie Award nominations, and breathe fresh life into a franchise that had been dormant for over a decade. His portrayal of Chad Meeks Martin across Scream 5 and Scream 6 proved he could handle both the legacy pressure and the physical demands of modern horror. But it's his off-screen evolution that has fans truly captivated. A transformation from conventional leading man to something far more interesting and indefinable. The talent runs in the family, son of Cuba Gooding Jr., but Mason has carved his own path with Yale University training, independent film credentials, and a natural charisma that feels both familiar and completely fresh. Directors Tyler Gillette and Matt Bettinelli-Olpin called him the heart of the new Scream generation, while co-star Jenna Ortega praised his ability to ground even the most chaotic scenes with genuine emotion. But Gooding himself has always been thoughtful about legacy and authenticity. I think every generation has to define what strength and vulnerability look like for them. My version might not look like what came before, and that's okay. It's a perspective that has guided his approach to both career choices and personal expression. What makes Gooding's energy so compelling is how naturally he's evolved from traditional masculine presentation into something more fluid and artistic. His recent fashion choices have become a masterclass in contemporary elegance. Think tailored cropped jackets, statement accessories, bold color choices, and experimental silhouettes that push boundaries while remaining undeniably cool. His collaboration with emerging designers has resulted in red carpet looks that feel more like editorial statements than safe celebrity styling. Fashion is another form of storytelling, he reflected. Why not tell interesting stories with what you wear? The internet has become particularly fascinated by Gooding's social media presence, which reveals layers of artistic interest beyond acting. His Instagram features contemporary art, poetry recommendations, behind-the-scenes glimpses of his creative process, and candid moments with friends that showcase a more intimate, thoughtful side than his horror hero image might suggest. His TikTok content often explores social issues, artistic expression, and moments of genuine vulnerability that feel refreshing from a young male actor. I think authenticity means being willing to show all parts of yourself, he said in a recent interview. The strong parts, the soft parts, the parts that are still figuring things out. What's most telling is how Gooding approaches discussions about representation, identity, and the evolution of masculinity in entertainment. His responses feel personally invested rather than professionally obligated, suggesting someone who's thought deeply about these issues. His advocacy extends beyond typical celebrity causes into real engagement with mental health awareness, LGBTQ+ youth organizations, and arts education programs. His choice of follow-up projects shows a clear preference for complex characters and stories that challenge audiences rather than safe commercial choices. The most compelling aspect of Gooding's trajectory is how he's managed to honor his family legacy while creating something entirely his own. His approach to fame feels more European than traditional Hollywood, prioritizing artistic integrity over tabloid attention, meaningful collaborations over high-profile connections. Industry insiders note his gravitational pull toward independent filmmakers, diverse storytelling, and projects that explore contemporary themes of identity and connection. I want to be part of stories that matter, he explained. Stories that reflect who we actually are, not who we think we're supposed to be. Whether Mason Gooding is consciously redefining masculine presentation or simply following his artistic instincts, his energy represents something powerful in young Hollywood. A willingness to evolve beyond expectations while maintaining authentic connection to his craft and community. In an industry that often rewards conformity, his approach feels both refreshing and revolutionary. Drop a 4 if Mason Gooding's evolution proves that the most interesting stories are the ones still being written. The internet has become obsessed with Pankow's off-screen relationships and creative projects, particularly his photography work and artistic collaborations that reveal layers beyond his TV persona. His social media showcases film photography, artistic compositions, and behind-the-scenes moments that feel more like curated art than celebrity content. His friendship dynamics, especially with co-stars, have spawned countless fan theories and deep analysis from viewers who sense something more complex beneath the surface of typical celebrity friendships. I think connection is the most important thing, he said recently. Real connection, not just the performance of it. What's most telling is how naturally Pankow discusses concepts of creative expression, emotional vulnerability, and the complexity of modern masculinity. His interviews reveal someone thoughtful about identity, interested in artistic exploration, and comfortable with ambiguity in ways that feel refreshing from a young male star. His choice of personal projects shows a clear gravitation toward independent art, creative photography, and collaborations that push boundaries rather than playing it safe. His advocacy focuses on environmental causes and mental health awareness, issues he speaks about with genuine passion rather than promotional obligation. The most compelling aspect of Pankow's evolution is how he's used his platform to showcase a different kind of masculine energy, one that embraces sensitivity, artistic curiosity, and emotional intelligence alongside traditional strength. His Outer Banks character arc has allowed him to explore themes of loyalty, vulnerability, and self-discovery that resonate deeply with audiences seeking more complex representation. Industry observers note his interest in independent films and directors known for nuanced character work as clear indicators of his artistic priorities. Whether Rudy Pankow is consciously challenging traditional heartthrob expectations or simply following his creative instincts, his energy represents something significant in contemporary entertainment. Proof that audiences crave authenticity over artifice, complexity over simplicity, mystery over predictability. In a world of manufactured celebrity personas, his approach feels both genuine and revolutionary. Drop a 5 if Rudy Pankow's artistic evolution makes you believe that the most magnetic energy comes from refusing to be Rudy Pankow, the Outer Banks heartthrob who's surfing new waves. When Rudy Pankow first appeared as J.J. Maybank on Netflix's Outer Banks, he seemed destined to be just another bad boy with a heart of gold. The troubled teen, the loyal friend, the pretty face who looked good in beach scenes and delivered his lines with all the expected rebellious charm. But somewhere between Season 1 and the show's massive global success, Pankow didn't just grow as an actor. He evolved into something the entertainment industry hadn't quite prepared for. Here was a 25-year-old from Alaska who could anchor a series watched by over 165 million households worldwide, earn Teen Choice Awards, and redefine what a teen drama heartthrob could be, all while radiating an energy that felt both authentic and beautifully enigmatic. The numbers speak to undeniable cultural impact. Outer Banks has been Netflix's #1 series in over 80 countries. Pankow has accumulated over 7 million Instagram followers, and his character JJ has become one of the most beloved figures in young adult television. Series creator Jonas Pate called him an actor who brings depth to every moment, while co-star Madison Bailey praised his natural ability to find truth in chaos. But Pankow himself has always been philosophical about fame and authenticity. I think the most interesting characters are the ones who surprise you, who can't be easily categorized. Maybe that's true for people too. It's a perspective that seems to guide both his artistic choices and his approach to public life. What makes Pankow's energy so captivating is how he's quietly revolutionized the teen heartthrob archetype without making a show of it. His fashion evolution has been subtle but significant, moving from safe, conventional looks toward more experimental choices, vintage-inspired pieces, and artistic accessories that suggest depth beyond surface appeal. His style now incorporates flowing fabrics, unexpected color combinations, and carefully chosen jewelry that feels more editorial than typical young actor fare. "I'm interested in clothes that tell stories," he reflected in a recent interview, "pieces that make you wonder about the person wearing them." From Charles Melton's artistic awakening to Michael Cimino's vulnerable strength, from Gavin Leatherwood's fearless creativity to Mason Gooding's evolving elegance, and Rudy Pankow's magnetic mystery, these 5 stars prove that the most captivating energy comes from authenticity, not performance. Each story reminds us that in 2025, the most powerful masculine presentation might be the one that refuses to be limited by traditional expectations. This isn't about labels or categories. It's about celebrating the kind of energy that makes you lean in, pay attention, and believe that being fully yourself is the most revolutionary act of all. Whether they're rewriting scripts, challenging fashion norms, or simply existing with beautiful complexity, each of these men represents a new kind of star power built on truth, rather than pretense? Which story resonated most with your own journey of self-discovery? Drop your numbers 1 through 5 and tell us where you're watching from. If you believe authentic expression is always more powerful than perfect performance, hit that like button. Subscribe to Rainbow Spotlight for more celebrations of the beautiful space between who we are and who we're becoming. Remember, the most magnetic energy in the world is the courage to be yourself, completely and unapologetically. This is Rainbow Spotlight, where authenticity always wins.